All right, welcome to Bad Guy Wrestling. This is January 30th in the afternoon here, so I'm trying to get in before Raw with some predictions, non-prediction type stuff, just really my ideas on this. And so one of the focuses of this channel is good storytelling and entertainment. So we're going to take a look at some of my ideas here before Raw really starts to set up where we're going. And I want to share. Let's pretend I'm the GM here. This is my channel. I don't care if you don't like it, but this is my channel. And so, while I do care about you, but I don't care if you don't like my ideas in this sense, because these are all just make-believe. So we're going to take a look at it here, and I'm going to go over some things I'd like to see, because Royal Rumble is all about leading up to WrestleMania. So we're going to be looking at a WrestleMania focus where I think things should go, I think would be entertaining. And we're going to start off with the women's division, and specifically one of the bigger surprises of the Royal Rumble, which was the return of Nia Jax. I mean, didn't see that one coming. Maybe you did. I don't look at dirt sheets or anything like that because I want to be surprised on a lot of things. So where does she go? Smackdown, Raw, but looking at the rosters, I think that the Raw women's roster is a little weaker. And one of the things that it needs is kind of more of a powerhouse here. I mean, I know we have the return of Piper Niven, or AKA Doudrop, but let's be honest, that she's not that level. She's not taking down Bianca Belair, and I'm not saying Nia Jax is either. But it's not her. But so what I would do, I would have Nia Jax go to feuding with Bianca Belair. And I think this would do a couple good things. I mean, she's going to not immediately go there. I think starting with Piper Niven might even be a good thing. Kind of a warm-up, get her back, and then show some dominance. Because one of the things with Bianca is she's the EST, right? You know, she's always the fastest, the strongest, and stuff like that. And in this case, she might not always be, she's not the bigger person. She's not going to be able to manhandle Nia Jax in this sense. So from a storyline perspective, it's going to be, it's a reversal. It's almost like she's the underdog in here, what she would be, and physically, but it's really a good showcase of overcoming that. So I think, Bianca would obviously go to WrestleMania, where she won the title at, and most likely then beat Nia Jax after probably a more grueling match. Hopefully Nia doesn't take her out or something, but that's the thought line here. I want to really give her a challenge, and that is Bianca, to really showcase that she is, the EST here, even if she isn't the most physical woman in the ring. And I mean, this really stems from the Alexa match at Royal Rumble. It was great. I mean, she's good, but as far as the storyline, but the match wasn't good. I mean, she just dominated her, which would be expected. So let's flip that. Yeah, so Nia Jax feuding with Bianca Belair, WrestleMania, and let's see some grueling match here within it. Next, let's stick with the women's division, and let's take a look at Rhea Ripley. So she won the Rumble, so she's going to face the champion of her choosing at WrestleMania, and so we could go with Bianca Belair. Could. I mean, she is on Raw after all. But I think a better choice would be going after the SmackDown's women's champion. Obviously, it was Charlotte Flair, and rekindling some of that animosity there. I think this is good in the sense of she already won the title once. It was very short. But this version of Rhea Ripley is different from that one that was introduced. And it's not just because her hair is shorter and black and she's got more edge to her than she already did. I think that she's developed quite nicely from somebody I thought was kind of gimmicky. It just looked like a metal scene girl, or scene woman in this case. and just worried about having the camera angle, it zooms in and you're looking at it on their interest, to actually real good, like, believable story that she can go in there and she can dominate anybody because it doesn't matter. And so I want to see Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. And I think this would also play into the fact. So as I said, Rhea Ripley is a Raw person with Judgment Day, but in this case, they could easily extend her as kind of support on Raw for Judgment Day, and then having her be like the face of SmackDown while she's the champion. And so with this, I'm thinking, if you're catching my drift, that she should beat Charlotte at WrestleMania for the title. Charlotte doesn't need any push. She's going to be fine. In this sense, I mean, she's already, I don't know, when she's in the teens, I don't even remember how many times she's had the championships within her. She's going to be fine, and she'll probably get it again in a few months after that. But I think her being the face of SmackDown women's division, and then being support and being able to do a lot of talking and help and support and with Dominic on Raw would be excellent. So she'll be on pretty much on both shows, but performing mostly on SmackDown. And then what would that do with Bayley and Becky Lynch? Well, they already have their feud going on right now, and I think that needs a continuation. Not Judgment Day. Damage Control is interfering a lot, and Becky's kind of like the one man operation here. So that leads us to I think this needs a better resolution on a big time stage. And what I would do here, Bayley versus Becky Lynch, but have it like a lumberjack match or something like that to that extent. I want to neutralize the aspect of Damage Control because they're awesome. I do like Damage Control. I like how they're playing dirty and stuff. But on the biggest stage here, I think it would be a good way to get some backup for her and have it a pure victory for Becky Lynch over Bayley in this case. And so no championships needed or anything like that. And they can end the feud, and then they can go back to their respective shows, because Bayley SmackDown and Becky Lynch, I believe, is Raw at this point. Perhaps and then you can do whatever you want with them after that. So going on there, I think those are the two big women's feuds here. I want to go back into Judgment Day now, and they tie in with the Bloodline at this point. And you see the signs already progressing in here, and I want to start with Judgment Day versus Usos for tag titles at WrestleMania. So we have all the drama right now about Jay walking away. But I think in the short term, maybe this gets kind of still more hype as Judgment Day still has this Edge storyline coming back they probably need to deal with in the short term. And Jay needs to, they need to reconcile the fallout of Sammy and Jay walking away and kind of deal with that. I think my prediction would be Jay coming back, but, kind of being a turmoil on there where he's conflicted, but he's staying with family for now. That's kind of the obvious one. And then once these are kind of settled, then we go into actual WrestleMania between the feud with this. When we get to WrestleMania, I put Judgment Day over Usos. I think the reign is coming, the Roman's reign is coming to an end, and we're seeing a good way for them to pass it off to another big tag team. I mean, Judgment Day are big. They're big, physical, and it works. There's a reason they're going to drop the titles to them because, the turmoil within there and storyline, it works. It doesn't make them look weak because they're going to be around for a while, but what it does is maybe they conflict, and then after WrestleMania, you have Uso versus Uso for a little bit, and then maybe eventually a rekindling or something like that. Let's talk about then the actual main event, since we're leading into it. Cody Rhodes is going to obviously wrestle against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. He won the Rumble. I don't know exactly what to do with KO. With that, when I look at the roster and I look at the things, and I'm not exactly done with his storyline either, because of, the way he penned the champion, but didn't get they're really setting it up for what I think is going to be like a triple threat type of match at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. And what this does is, it really sets up, Roman can take a leave of absence. He can drop the belt, and even perhaps KO gets pinned by Cody Rhodes, new WWE the undisputed champions here with the 2 belts and whatnot. And Roman goes away for a while. And it recovers, heals, goes to Hollywood or whatever it is. But I think within this, you're going to have big roles within Sami Zayn coming in to help neutralize the Usos and, Solo Sikoa. And then at the end of the match, where it is, where they would normally cheat their way or have their numbers in there, I think this is where the Usos will finally, both of them, or at least Jay, turn their back on them and let him just kind of do his thing and lose legitimately, or not lose legitimately, have Cody pin Kevin Owens. And so we saw some of that in AEW, if you watched that, with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and, with Hangman Adam Page. So I think that's something here. Where we have an Uso angle of turning their back on Roman, and because he's kind of going crazy now, and then allowing Sammy to help Kevin Owens be the distraction, and then fortunately for him, Cody Rhodes emerging as the victor over all of it. Maybe then you can have farther down Cody Rhodes and then Kevin Owens, going at it for a while to settle that. Yeah, Kevin Owens doesn't really need a championship to be relevant. He's kind of a made man now in that sense. So let's look at some of the other. Let's change a little bit to a couple ones, the obvious ones. So Lesnar versus Lashley. It's set up. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be WrestleMania here. They're going to be there. I think what I would do is I would have Lesnar win. He's not the favorite as far as like the fan favorite. I think that would go to Bobby Lashley, but I like this MVP connection. I think it would be a good way to reset the connection, showcasing, the need for it. You could have won if I was there. And it would be interesting because I liked Hurt Business Bobby Lashley more than I like current Bobby Lashley. But that's me. And I think the other obvious one is Braun Strowman versus Amos. And so you have the two giants there going at it. They tease it a little bit in the Rumble with Braun getting the better of him. And I think we can set that up. And there's already MVP is with Amos. And then, he can be be able to talk through it and things. And you can have a big lead ups of cars getting damaged or whatever Braun likes to do with or he can run a train around the ring 1,000,000 times, which is the stupidest move in the world. And don't get me wrong, I like Braun. He's cool. I've liked Braun for a long time. I just don't like that one thing about him. So, but it's not like he cares about it if I don't like it. So I think those are the two obvious: Lesnar versus Lashley and Braun Strowman versus Amos. So what does that leave? That leaves a few different areas here. I think Ricochet versus Logan Paul, not much needed on this. You saw it. They were high flyer. They had their own spot within the Rumble. I think it'd be a good match. I think at this point they got enough hype. Ricochet has been getting a little more hype. I don't really like him that much, but I think as far as appeal, it could help with Logan Paul. I think he could get a victory on this one. And help legitimize him a little bit more as a wrestler, because his strengths are the high flying stuff. It's not the grueling matches. It's not to say anything about his ability, but his strength is definitely the high flying and the ability. So let's showcase him. Let's make him look really good here. And Ricochet, I mean, he takes losses all the time, and people still like him, so it's not like he needs it. And it'd be good for him. He'll be in WrestleMania. What does he have to hate about that? He's going to get a WrestleMania match. Ricochet at WrestleMania. I never thought I'd say that. I don't even remember if he was there last year or not, but as far as like relevancy, I would be looking forward to seeing that match is what I'm really more implying is I want to see that. So let's go to what to do with Austin Theory. I mean, looking at the rosters again, Austin Theory and Seth Rollins, I mean, I don't think it's done. I think that we need a continuation. I think we need a final match at WrestleMania to really determine this with perhaps Seth coming back on top. Austin, he's had the title for a while, and this turnaround, and instead of being the kind of like Vince Mama's boy type thing to this legitimate here, I think this is what he needed, obviously, and I think Seth is kind of falling on the wayside. I mean, he's been made. He doesn't need anybody, but as far as going through this could be another they teased like with Cody and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's possible afterwards they can keep him out of trying to go against Cody again for a while. And I think it opens up Austin Theory to then maybe eventually get into a main event or main title picture type of thing going forward. And then what do we have? We have a couple areas left here. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. What to do with them? Well, I think for now, for very shortly, I would keep them together to pursue Imperium. But what I would do is then split them off. So Drew McIntyre is then, we have the Gunther aspect of it. And I think leading to a WrestleMania showdown with McIntyre and Gunther, I mean, that would be great. They're two very large guys, very athletic, and I think it's a good storyline with then Sheamus then pairing off with not to another member of Imperium, but while having McIntyre's back, he then deals with Karrion Kross. I think would be another brutal match. They're two big physical guys as well. And then you could have or a tag team between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus versus Gunther and Karrion Kross, even though there's the Imperium connection. So that probably doesn't work. So I think Sheamus versus Karrion Kross and McIntyre versus Gunther for the Intercontinental title, which Drew McIntyre probably takes off of him. Unless there's interference. So, which there could be within it. So I think these two would be good. They would be able to hype this up because Gunther is putting on amazing matches, especially with the Rumble and everything here. So last, I forgot to mention here the Sami Zayn aspect of it. It's on my notes here. Solo Sikoa versus Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. This will be an earlier match, and then the feud will carry on later in there and cause complications and things like that. Perhaps Jay really thinks hard about it, or Jimmy and Jay see some of the respect from Sammy within there, from him like putting his heart into the match and whatnot. He doesn't even have to win it, but I think he beats Solo Sikoa for his first loss here, and that inspires change for the Usos to turn their back on Roman in the main event. So that leads me to my last area of this kind of prediction, non-prediction thing, is the Uncle Howdy, the Bray Wyatt, and the Alexa connection. I think what they should do is form a struggle for supremacy here between Bray and Uncle Howdy, leaving Alexa to pair back with Bray, as the evil she knows is better than the unknown evil. So she aligns herself back with Bray to push him over the edge and defeat Uncle Howdy. But really, it's not so much a defeat; it's a bowing down back to Bray Wyatt, and so a mutual respect in some sense where Bray is the leader again, but the unknown of Uncle Howdy is this aligning back with, so that they can do more damage together and then with Alexa as well. So this would form a new stable with the three of them. Perhaps eventually then they go to feud with Judgment Day or other 3-team stables like the Good Brothers and Mia Yim, and so on. So this is my post-Royal Rumble predictions and ideas. I hope you liked it here. And this is Bad Guy Wrestling. This is a channel about the entertainment and storytelling focus on it. And so we're going to have more content coming. And you know what? If they follow this, it doesn't matter. But they should, because this would be interesting. And then we can fill 2 days. And I think everything here storyline makes sense. So thanks for checking it out. Talk to you all later.